All rise. The Superior Court of California, the County of San Joaquin, Department 10D, the Honorable Judge Robert Cronlin presiding. The court is now in session. Please be seated and come to order.
Good morning, everybody. We're here on the jury trial of the people of the state of California versus defendant Wolf. And we have a jury selected today. Thank you for your service, ladies and gentlemen. You're playing a very important role in the justice system. At this time, we will have opening statements. Who is the prosecutor in the case?
Lisa Blanco Jimenez for the people.
And you may proceed with your opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Lisa Blanco Jimenez, and I represent the people of the state of California in the prosecution of defendant Wolf for the murder of the brothers of victim Pig. You will hear testimony today from the witness stand about what happened on that fateful morning of September 1st of last year. You will hear how the defendant Wolf came knocking on the doors of the victim Pig brothers and asked them for money and property and information. And when they didn't comply with those requests, you will hear how defendant Wolf became outraged and angry and first blew down the house of the first pig, causing his demise, then blew down the house of the second pig, causing his demise, thereby committing not one but two murders, and then attempted to blow down the house and also murder the victim Pig, who thankfully survived that conduct and is able to come here today and tell you what happened on that fateful morning in September of last year. And when I'm done presenting that evidence and you've heard from the witness stand all the testimony of the firsthand witnesses and you've evaluated the evidence, you will go back to the jury room to deliberate, having heard from the judge the instructions on the law. And I believe that you will, after that process, come to the conclusion that the Wolf did commit these heinous acts and find the Wolf guilty of one murder, two murders, and the attempted murder of the victim Pig. Thank you very much.
Thank you, counsel. And now for the defense, would you like to give an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution has the burden to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. And not only does the prosecution have to prove those charges beyond a reasonable doubt, but she has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it was this Wolf who did it. And she will not be able to do that because there is no evidence to suggest that Mr. Defendant Wolf was the person who murdered the Little Pig's family. You will hear from a couple of witnesses today, and after you listen to the testimony and you see all of the evidence presented before you, you will find the defendant Wolf not guilty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, counsel. Does prosecution have a witness to testify?
Yes, Your Honor. The people call victim Pig.
Okay, the deputy will escort the witness to the stand, please. Thank you, and clerk, please swear in the witness.
Please raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Please state your name for the record and spell your last name.
Victim Pig Castillo. Castillo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Pig Castillo, can you tell us where you were on the morning of September 1st of last year?
In my newly built brick house in the woods.
And did you have neighbors in that area of the woods?
Yes, my two brothers. They built a straw house and a twig house right by my house.
What kind of house did you have?
A brick house.
And did you have occasion to see anyone else in the courtroom on that morning of September 1st?
Yeah, the guy with the mustache.
Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Yes, it will.
And how did you come to see, or in what circumstance did you see the defendant Wolf?
I was playing my piano in my front room, and all of a sudden I saw this big furry guy with fur everywhere and a mustache with blood on it.
And this was at your home, the brick house?
Yes, in my living room with my piano.
And what, if anything, was the wolf attempting to do?
He was hovering over my big brother that lived in the straw house, and he was like doing stuff with his hands.
Did you see any blood?
I did. A lot of blood on the mustache.
Did the wolf say anything?
Yeah, he huffed and puffed, or that's all I remember. He was huffing and puffing.
Did you ever take any samples of anything, any blood, any fur, or anything from that morning?
Yes, after the police arrived, I rushed to try to get stuff from my brother's house, and I had a cup with me, and so I put stuff in the cup from my brother's house and his other stuff.
Your Honor, I'd like to approach the witness with what's been previously marked as People Exhibit A.
You may.
Ms. Pig-Castillo, I am handing you what's been previously marked as People Exhibit A. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is it?
It's what I got from my brother's house that lived in the straw.
And what is in the container?
It was the blood with the twigs.
Thank you. Your Honor, I move to admit People's Exhibit A.
So admitted.
What did you observe when the police arrived that day?
They took that guy with the mustache in the car.
And did he say anything in the presence of you and the police?
He just said he liked bacon.
I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross-examination by defense.
Miss Pig, on the day of the incident, you said that you were playing your piano, correct?
Yes.
And you were inside your brick house?
Yes.
And your brick house doesn't have any windows, right?
It has one window in the front.
And your piano is not next to that window in the front, right?
No, it is. I play it and I look out into the sky for inspiration.
And so on this fateful day for you, September 1st of last year, you were playing your piano and you were looking out into the sky for inspiration, right?
Yes, of course.
And then it wasn't until you saw the back of something with fur that caught your attention, correct?
No, I saw his face because he has the mustache.
And the mustache, and that's what you were focused on, right? The mustache?
Yeah, the mustache.
And so you didn't really see his eyes, right?
Well, he had eyes. I just don't know what color.
And you didn't really focus on whether the person had glasses or not, right? Because you were focused on the mustache.
Yeah, and the blood.
And the blood, and you were focused on that too, right?
Yes.
And so you don't really remember anything else about that person except that they were a wolf, right?
A wolf with a bloody mustache. Yes.
And that's what you remember from that day, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Pig. You're excused. You may step back down. At this point, did prosecution rest?
Yes, Your Honor, the prosecution rests.
Okay, thank you. Would defense like to call a witness?
Yes, Your Honor, the defense would like to call Defendant Wolf to the stand, please.
Thank you. And the bailiff will escort the defendant to the stand, please.
Can you help me, sir? I have a gammy leg.
This way.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Thank you.
Please stand to be sworn in by the clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated. Please state your name and spell your last for the record.
My first name is Runt, Runt, and my last name is Wolf, Woof.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Wolf.
Hi,
What do you do for a living?
I'm a student. I live with my mom.
And, Mr. Wolf, how old are you?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, they used to say that for every year it'd be 7 dog years, but I guess they don't say that anymore, and I don't know if that applies to wolves or not.
And so, Mr. Wolf, you said that you live with your mother, and your mother is Wolf as well?
Yeah.
And how many other wolves live in your household?
Well, I have 6 brothers and sisters in my litter, and then my mom had another litter last spring, and there are 7 of them.
And are you guys roughly around the same age?
Everybody in my litter is the same age. I had the litter that was before me. Most of them have moved out, but my younger puppy litter is smaller.
And the other litters and your current litter, are you guys all about the same height and weight?
I think most of us are. Of my brothers, 4 of the bigger brothers have mustaches. 5 of my current brothers have mustaches, and of the little ones, I think 3 of them have mustaches. And a lot of my cousins have mustaches too, especially my cousin Chauncey. I thought he was the coolest, and that's why I grew my mustache.
And have you changed your fur at all in preparation of trial today?
I think since I got arrested, I probably shed my coat a few times, but that's just because it's summertime, and we will do that.
But other than that, is there any difference in your appearance today as it was on September 1st of last year?
No, it's been a while since I've had my fur shampooed.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness and show what's been previously marked as Defense Exhibit 1?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been previously marked as Defense Exhibit 1. Do you recognize that?
I know. It looks like it came out of somebody's vacuum cleaner. I think it's dog hair. I don't even think it's the right species. But, the color kind of looks like my cousin Chauncey, but I couldn't really tell you.
Do you know?
It smells like dog.
Do you know what that is?
I think this might have come out of somebody's vacuum cleaner. It looks like there's some human hairs in there, too.
So are you able to identify that?
Actually, there's some dust and some garbage. Yeah, I think it came out of somebody's vacuum cleaner.
So you're not able to identify that otherwise?
I don't think I've seen it before.
Thank you. Your Honor, we would ask to move Defense Exhibit 1 into evidence, please.
That will be admitted.
And so you kept talking about your cousin Chauncey, who has the same height as you, right?
Yeah, I think since he broke my leg, I've become a little bit shorter.
And does Chauncey also have a limp? Because I
No.
recognize that you do have a limp as you walk to the stand.
No, I really look up to Chauncey, but he bullies me. But they say that we kind of look alike. Chauncey's like big and tough. I wish I could be like him.
Okay, but he does have a mustache like you?
Oh, yeah. Well, his mustache is even awesomer than mine.
And he's about the same weight as you?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Cross-exam.
Hello, Mr. Wolf.
Hello.
You were arrested by the police at the homes of the 3 little pigs, were you not?
Oh, no, I was walking nearby, and that's why I think I was racially profiled.
And when you were arrested by the police, you did make some statement about how you like to eat bacon.
No, they asked me if I like bacon, and I said, who doesn't?
And you do, in fact, love bacon.
I do, but I always cook it.
Okay. And you consider yourself a connoisseur of all things bacon.
Well, you can see there's a little bit of extra padding on me. I not just bacon. Yeah, I kind of keep eating.
And you are also a fan of being in the woods.
Not really. I like to stay home and play video games. But my brothers were all out, and if I took a walk, I was looking for them. Chauncey was out too, and I think my little brother, then my big brother, and my other cousins were out too.
And you're familiar with the home of the 3 little pigs?
I have no idea.
You've never seen a straw pig home or a a brick pig home?
No.
You said you look up and you admire your cousin Chauncey?
My cousin Chauncey is like tough and wolf-like. He's well like a wolf should be.
And you like him?
Not really, but I admire him.
You do admire him?
Yeah.
And you look up to him?
Well, he's about my same height, so I kind of look like straight at him.
And you'd like to be like him?
If I could be, yeah.
You'd like to be tough and a bully?
I don't want to be a bully, but I want to be a proper wolf.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. And Mr. Wolf, you're excused from the stand. You may step back down to the table.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Does the defense rest at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will hear the closing arguments from the attorneys at this time. Prosecution, when you're ready, you may proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've now heard all of the evidence in this case. You've heard from victim Pig the tragic story of how she witnessed the wolf over the bloody bodies of her sibling brother pigs, and how she had to endure that anguishing sight of seeing her dead brothers there at their home, the homes that they had built. And she identified for you in court that it was this defendant Wolf who she saw on that fateful day of September 1st of last year. She said that from the stand. Now, you also heard from defendant Wolf, who tried to suggest that maybe this is a case of mistaken identity. He has an older cousin, Chauncey, who's about his size, who also has a mustache like him. You've heard how he looks up to Chauncey, how Chauncey's the more aggressive, bully type wolf in his family, but that he wants to be like him. He admires him. He looks up to him. And perhaps in an attempt to emulate or be like Chauncey, Mr. Defendant Wolf struck out on that fateful day of September 1st and last year and tried to show himself up as a strong, proper wolf, as he said. And in so doing, he did what a proper wolf does, which is kill and eat pork. And that's what he did on September 1st. He was identified by the victim pig. She saw him. She knows it was him. His story, his suggestion that maybe it was someone else, is just not believable. I ask that you go back to your deliberation room today, think about it, and find that it was the defendant Wolf who committed these heinous crimes, and come back with a verdict of guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. And now the defense closing argument.
Thank you. Victim Pig was in her brick house, playing the piano, preoccupied with this activity, and staring out the window for inspiration. She wasn't focused on what was going on with her brothers outside. In fact, the only thing that she saw to identify this wolf was that it was a wolf with a bloody mustache. But as you heard, ladies and gentlemen, from defendant Wolf, there were several other wolves that he lived with that had similar height, similar weight, that were wolves, and had a mustache as well. In fact, all of those wolves that he described were actually out that day in the woods, and he went out to go find them. He happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but that does not mean that he committed this crime. Defendant Wolf is innocent of these crimes. Defendant Wolf was not the person who was there that day who committed these crimes. And ladies and gentlemen, as you saw with the fur that doesn't match defendant Wolf, if the fur doesn't match, if the fur doesn't fit, you must acquit. And the prosecution has not proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt, and you must find him not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, before you go to deliberate and decide which side you believe, I will read you the jury instructions for this case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you've now heard all the evidence in this case and the arguments of the attorneys. You must judge this case on only what you hear in this courtroom during this trial and not from any other source. You must not be influenced by passion, prejudice, sympathy, pity, or public opinion, either for or against the defendant wolf or victim pig. Each juror must make up their own mind and deliberate or discuss the case to reach a verdict or decision. Everyone charged with a crime is presumed innocent, unless and until their guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt is not all possible doubt, because all decisions we make are open to some possible or imaginary doubt. Reasonable doubt is doubt that is based on reason and logic and can be supported by facts and described to other people. It takes all of the jurors to reach a verdict. If you find it was proven by the prosecution beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant wolf intentionally blew down the pig brothers' houses and ate them, and tried to do the same to victim pig, you must find wolf guilty. But if you find it was not proven by the prosecution beyond a reasonable doubt that wolf intentionally blew down the pig brothers' houses and ate them, and tried to do the same to victim pig, you must find wolf not guilty. So at this time, I thank you very much for your time, and you will be going off to deliberate. We're in recess.